So today I'm having trouble logging in, so I'm still trying to log in with my computer. Right now I'm logged in from my phone.
Okay.
Yeah, and I did, just like we had talked about, I did go visit another property. And this time we were able to do a walkthrough. I'm going to put that video up on my what's it called? Not Instagram,
LinkedIn,
not LinkedIn, not Twitter. What's
Facebook.
TikTok, on my TikTok.
Okay. Yeah, I've not gotten to TikTok yet.
Yeah. Let me see here. Host a meeting with video on.
How you doing, Kevin?
Good.
Good. Nice to see everyone here. Guys, we'll be right with you. I'm just trying to log in on my computer, and it just happened to restart. So I have to start again from my computer. But in the meantime, I'm over here on my phone. So bear with me for just a little bit. And go figure, like 3 minutes before we started, the computer decides to reboot. While we're waiting on the computer, if you would, just go around the room, kind of introduce yourself, let us know what you're currently doing in multifamily. And if you're not currently in multifamily, then feel free to let us know, what you're aspiring to do or what your current position is. So if you want, Brock, I mean, you know the drill. You're the whatchamacallit, you're a local here. So by all means, if you would kick us off and just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. My name is Brock Heider. I've been in multifamily since 2019. I started investing with an IRA, and then I'm invested in 4 different deals right now, 5 different properties. I'm looking to potentially go more active at some point. Trying to get some more passive income coming in monthly to eventually work myself out of my full-time job into something different with real estate or whatnot. So that's my story.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else want to go next? Just introduce yourself. Let us know what you got currently going on in the multifamily space.
I think you're muted.
I'm muted?
No, Narissa, sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
I think you're still muted or
Yeah,
something.
she muted.
Yeah, whoever wants to go next, it doesn't have to be in order or anything. Just anybody else want to introduce themselves?
My name is Kevin Shu, and I've been invested in those single-family home for about 15 years. And now I'm trying to get into those multifamily. I currently evaluate certain deal, and I'm still working on those. And sometimes the deal is too big, and I don't have that money to put on the down, and so I may syndicate with other people or to do together, and increase the deal size.
That sounds awesome. What kind of deal are you currently looking at?
I'm looking at that multifamily about 15, 18 unit, and that costs about whatever they ask is about 2 million now, and the cap rate now is kind of very low, and anyway, so it's just the kind of just to do some evaluation.
So, and where in your properties at, Kevin?
Excuse me?
Where are you purchasing properties at now? What city, what state?
I'm looking at Georgia, but primary is in the Metro Atlanta.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, you're definitely in the right spot for that. So thank you, and welcome to the meetup today. Thank you for joining us. Who would like to go next?
Can you hear me this time?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry
Narissa?
about that. My headset seems to have died along with your computer resetting 3 minutes ago. As you can probably hear, we are also not American. We have several single family investments back in Australia and land, which we are continuing to develop back there. We did joined our first syndication, multifamily syndication, in December and closed on 2 properties with that just prior to Christmas, which is a total of 210 doors in Atlanta, ironically, Kevin. We are also looking to expand that. We're brokering's probably the wrong word in relation to the Securities Act. We're doing a private loan at the moment to a developer for a 12-month term at 25% interest, which I'm sitting here rubbing my hands together, hoping it all goes well and our due diligence pays off. And looking to expand more and more into the multifamily syndication, hoping to get into some GP positions and do some equity raising and bring other people to deals.
That sounds awesome. And so are you currently in Australia right now?
No, I am sitting in our apartment in Overland Park, Kansas.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, because we do get we do get people from other countries, but well, either way, I'm glad you're here, Narissa. So thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. And yeah, so definitely, as you guys are coming in, let us know what city and state you're coming in from. And also, if you could share any other information, maybe your email, any contact info, your phone number, anything like that. And that's going to go a long way, because then two things. One, we could send you an email with a video webinar, how to get started in multifamily syndications. It's a free video, free of charge. And 2, because also, if you go to the chat box here at the bottom, you'll be able to stay in communication with other members of the group, and that'll be a good way to keep in contact with everyone. So thank you for that. Who wants to go next, guys and girls, ladies? Perfect. I got it. Okay.
Sure, I'll go next, Carlos.
Yeah, go ahead.
My name is Peter, everyone. Nice to meet everybody. I am in Los Angeles, California, and I am fairly new to multifamily. My background is in single family homes, but I understand that, multifamily is kind of can be quite lucrative and has a lot of benefits. So I've been studying for the past few months from a lot of different sources and getting a good understanding of how it works. I came across passive investing on the Joe Fairless podcast, I believe. So that's how I learned about you guys. And I signed up for your emails, and I've been listening, to some of the folks from your company who have been also guests on other podcasts. So it's been wonderful to learn about you guys that way. I'm also signed up for the summit. So I'm excited about learning more and hopefully joining up on a deal fairly soon.
Awesome. And thank you for bringing up that information, Peter. What type of properties are you currently going after? I know you mentioned you were in single family before, but currently are you looking for, small to bigger size multifamily?
I would like to in the near future. At the moment, I'm still continuing to expand our single family homes. So I'm looking to purchase a few more of those. But I would like to be able to build up to the point where I'm able to invest in multifamily.
Sounds awesome. All right, cool. Thanks for sharing. And yeah, Peter brought up the summit. So just so you guys know, you could go to mfinsummit.com. And there, if you use my promo code Canis, that's Charlie Alpha Nancy India Sierra, Canis, you'll save $100 off the price of admission. So thanks for reminding us about that. Okay, who would like to go next? Introduce yourselves. Just let us know a little bit about you and what you got going on in the multifamily space. All right, I'm joining here from my other computer, so bear with me. All right, guys. So, JW, did you want to go ahead and tell us a little bit more about yourself? And by the way, guys, I'm going by your screen names. So if you go by any other name, just let us know. But as far as your screen names, I'm wondering if JW wants to go ahead and introduce himself. If so, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was having technical difficulties. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
No problem. We all have today.
Yeah, I'm kind of like, I started off in the single family world. I'm actually in Texas. I'm just trying to, meet up on different deal flows so I can find additional type investment opportunities. But start off in that single family realm, bought a bunch of houses, do still have some Airbnbs. But I do like the passive investing realm. I like that because the single family realm does take a lot of time. And so I'm just jumping on as many meetup groups. That's kind of my thing for the next year to learn and find, some more deal flow, partnership opportunities, anything that I can do to expand. I did have a couple passive deals that I was invested in Atlanta. I invest a lot in Texas. Texas is a hot market, so San Antonio is also good. Where else? Phoenix. But I kind of just like to spread and dabble my equity and my resources out on a bunch of different types of deals. But just enjoy doing that.
Sounds great.
Yeah,
Thank you for. Yeah, that was awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And it looks like a lot of you guys, or a lot of us, better said, have started in single family, and we're looking now to expand into multifamily. So, and speaking of a little bit of everything, you also mentioned, transitioning from single family to multifamily. And I'll tell you, the best part about doing that is what they call the economies of scale, right? So basically, you're going from one unit. If that unit is vacant, then you're totally vacant, right? You have zero people paying you mortgage. The good thing is, when you do economies of scale, let's say you have a 100-unit building and one person moves out, you still have 99 people paying your mortgage, right? So that's why we consider multifamily. In general, that's really the best reason to scale up from single family to multifamily. So thanks for that. And you guys, feel free to share here your contact info. I'm just going to go ahead and put some quick information from my end. And also, just so you guys have an idea of, what kind of information you could share on here. And what I like to do is put my cell and my email address. And then feel free to reach out to me anytime. As long as I'm available, I'll respond to your call. And if not, I'll get back to you at my earliest convenience. And that's usually within half an hour's time. Okay, so, and company name. It's still going to be here, but you'll see it, Kenneth's Major Investment Capital. And if you go to the summit, Mfin Summit.com, and my promo code is Kenneth. And that'll help you save $100 off the price of admission.
And where is that conference located at? Which one are we talking about?
Yeah, so this is the Mfin Summit. Basically, it's a virtual summit. It takes place twice a year. The next one coming up is going to be January 20th through the 22nd. Okay. And again, I put it here in the show notes. So you go to mfinsummit.com. And once you go to check out, just use my promo code Canis, and that's going to save you $100. It says 10,000, but it's just $100 off the price of admission. All right, guys. And then pretty much everybody got a chance to introduce themselves. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself, and I'm going to go ahead and share the screen here. All right. So yeah, today we're going to be talking about building your multifamily team. And that's a question I was going to ask you guys. So just so you know what the layout for today is, we've introduced ourselves. Next, we're going to go into the content. And then after the content is complete, we'll have a chance to go into breakout rooms and kind of network there a little bit further. So yeah, building your multifamily team. Today's Multifamily Investor Nation Monday Meetups. I'm your host for today. My name is Carlos D. Reinoso. I'm also a co-organizer for Multifamily Investor Nation, and also, they're part of the group with PassiveInvesting.com that Peter was mentioning. So in Multifamily Investor Nation here in Georgia, I host the Meetup. It's a virtual meetup every first Monday of the month. Today being the second Monday of the month, we had to move it because of the holiday. And I'm a managing partner. I'm also a general partner. I'm currently raising capital on a deal. It's a 240 unit Class B 506B offering in San Antonio, Texas. Someone had mentioned they're also investing in Texas. I believe it was Peter as well. And so just so you know, we do have some property in Texas right now, and we're currently raising for it. I believe we're about 85% fully raised on that one. And 240 unit 506B offering. And I'm the author of the book, Selling Secrets You Can't Afford to Miss. I kind of wrote that book in the process of the COVID situation. I had a lot of downtime, so I figured this would be a good way to give back to the market, single family market that I was in for over 20 years. Recently been interviewed on the Joe Fairless podcast, the best real estate investing advice ever, which again, Peter also mentioned that he heard of MFIN through there. This was great. This was a picture of Ash Patel and myself as we're actually being interviewed. So we had a lot of fun. And if you guys ever get asked to be on the show, I would jump on it. It's a lot of fun. And they ask really great questions, and it'll be a good way to give back and add value to the guest. Here's a picture of myself in the middle bottom. To my far right, you have Michael Blanc, and then you also have under him Travis Watts. And this is basically the week that I was interviewed. This was all the guests that were on the show that week. And again, if you guys want to go check out that podcast, it's show 2640, Joe Fairless, show 2640. And my topic was 5 tips to boost your online network and find investors with Carlos D. Reinoso. Now, again, the summit, mfinsummit.com, use my promo code CANIS. And here you have it right up here. You can follow my cursor. That's going to save you $100 off the price of admission. And again, it's January 20th through the 22nd. And if you guys want to verify that, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's Thursday through Sunday, or it might be Friday through Sunday. And so I'm going to be a moderator. This is going to be the panel that I'm going to be hosting on. Is basically raising capital and finding money for your deals. So this is something, like I said, I'm currently raising capital on a deal. And in this particular panel, we're going to have a lot of great guests. If you guys are familiar with Timothy Lyons, he's going to be a guest. Whitney Sewell's going to be a guest. And there's another 2 other guests that are going to be speaking on this panel. So I'm really proud to be able to host this panel, and especially with such a great group of MFIN, and specifically the guys that are going to be joining me, the guys and girls that are going to be joining me on this panel as well. So I hope you guys will join us for that. Again, this is going to have over 300. So far, we have over, I believe, 200 people already signed up. And we're guesstimating that by the time it's all said and done, we should have about 500 key players that are going to be registered and attending the event. So you definitely want to sign up for that. Great place to network, great place to get to know investors. And also on the topic of finding partners, this whole summit is going to be a great place to find partners as well. So I highly recommend it. My favorite summit of the year, not just because I'm, hosting it or hosting the panel this year, but just every year, it truly is my favorite summit. Great place to network and get to know other experienced and novice investors alike. All right, guys, like I said before, if you would make sure, if you haven't yet, put your contact info in the chat box. That way, it'll let us know who attended. It's kind of like the roster, if you will. But at the same time, all those who give us your email address will receive the free webinar video. Yeah, and the video is going to be on how to get started in multifamily. And even if you're an experienced investor, this is a good video because it kind of gives you like a refresher course on the stuff to pay most attention to. So I highly recommend it even for experienced investors. I do have a YouTube channel. I hope you guys will check it out and sign up for that. This video will be edited and posted on my channel. So if you need to take notes or forgot something and want to recap, it's also a great place to kind of go back and get information about the guests that were here today, kind of reach out to them. And when you do, you'll have a little bit about them, so that you could start up the conversation once you do try to network with these investors. Yeah, and definitely if you would, like and subscribe. I would love for you guys to, leave a comment, a nice comment if possible. I don't get paid for my YouTube channels. I'm hoping in the future to get a broader audience. But for right now, everything that I do on there is coming out of my pocket, and I do it with a lot of love because I think it's going to be helpful to those getting started as a way to, to go from A to Z on how to go from not knowing how to invest in multifamily all the way up to, asset managing after you've already had your first property under contract for several months. So definitely go check out the videos. Okay, and let's see what else. The summit I've already mentioned. Use my promo code. You see it here in green. Save $100 off the price of admission. And if you stick around to the end, we're definitely going to have networking opportunities so that you guys can get to know each other better as well. This was last month's content, which was asset management responsibilities after closing a multifamily deal. This month's content is going to be building your multifamily team. Excuse me. So that being said, if you guys have any questions throughout the presentation, feel free to put it in the chat box. I'll be monitoring that. And also feel free to just raise your hand or pause me for a second. Carlos, quick question. Anything like that is fine. And, just let me know if you have any questions now, and there'll always be time at the end for questions as well. Okay, so syndication group team, and there's actually two different types of team members we're going to be talking about, and that's the in-house team or the syndication team, and the not in-house team. And then we're going to go over the difference between each, and you're going to understand what the differences are. So the syndication group team is the partners and team members, and they're not easily replaced, obviously. So you know how hard it is to network and to finally get your partners that you decide, okay, these are the right guys that I want to be working with. So these guys are really hard to replace. And especially after, like myself, you've kissed a lot of frogs, you've gotten to know a lot of people, you've had partnerships, you've started new partnerships, you've ended old partnerships. And right now, you're in the process of starting a new management team, and you definitely want to take care of that team because it's hard to replace them. Okay, best way to find partners is to be in a room of like-minded individuals that want to do the same thing you want to do. So in this case, we're all here. We're all looking to invest in multifamily units. So this is definitely a good place to network and possibly find team members. For those who aren't familiar with the meetup, this meetup has been it's been in existence for over 3 years. I took it over 2.5 years ago. And basically, it was one of the places that I found a partner And so what I've also seen is people start partnerships, and I've also seen people partner up on deals as well. So I highly recommend this meetup, not just for a one and done, but to continue to come back to it, because like Brock is one of the locals that, you know, that keeps coming back. And but we always have other investors that come back and they share their info. So I would highly recommend that you use this as a sounding board for not only networking opportunities, but also to possibly find your future team members as well. Typically, we're all attracted to people who are like us, right? It's just human nature. If someone is similar to you or familiar to you, it's easier to get to know that person and to get comfortable around that person. But when you're looking for team members, you definitely want people who have complementary skills. They're not going to be exactly like you, but you know, obviously you're going to have some things in common and some synergies, but you want to find people that have complementary skills of something that you're lacking. So I always give my example. I'm not the quickest at analyzing deals. I can do it. I know how to do it. I've done it many times before, but I know that it takes me a while and I'm not as quick as like a numbers person. But if you are a numbers person, then maybe you're looking for somebody who's good with investor relations. And so just find somebody who's complementary to your talents and who could kind of complement what you're missing, and they'll have what you're missing and you'll have what they're missing. So an example of that, in this case with Dan, Danny, and Brandon, they have, you know, they're the three managing partners to passiveinvesting.com. So Dan Handford, he's mostly in charge of investor relations, acquisitions, and you know, he does a lot of the marketing and stuff like that. Whereas Brandon, he does more like broker relations, and he also does acquisitions with the contract as well. And Danny's more in the finance portion of this. So he's more focused on the financing part, and that's how they complement each other. Now, if one of these members were missing, the other should be able to take the helms and be able to complete whatever task is at hand. So you want to make sure, even though you have someone specifically for a certain task, that every member of your team is capable of handling every other member's task. And the reason for that is, you know, God forbid in this day and age, with stuff like COVID, or just, you know, something as simple as a common cold or a vacation or anything like that, you definitely want to be able to have someone that could cover you if ever you're not available. I went too far here. Okay. So yeah, be in groups of people who are interested in multifamily investing as well. Ask what they like to do and what is their skill set. So again, my skill set, I would say, is investor relations. I'm also good at analyzing deals, but it takes me longer than the average Joe at analyzing it. So I'd rather pass that on. But you know, I could also do that. I'm great at negotiations. I'm great at finding off-market deals. So acquisitions is something else that I could do, but I would let someone else take over when it comes to the analysis, if you will. So places you could meet team members, meetups like this one, conferences like the Mfin Summit. Also, Peter mentioned with, or I'm sorry, it might have been JW, mentioned about Joe Fairless. That's another great one as well, a great conference. And virtual groups like Facebook. A lot of people have their Facebook group. Check into there because there's a lot of like-minded investors. And other social media, like I mentioned when I was talking to Brock earlier, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and one of my favorites is LinkedIn. Great place to meet like-minded investors. Now, if you're looking for a team member that you need to hire and they're still an inbound team member, then you could go to places like selectleaders.com. And I misspelled leaders, so just remove that S in the middle. So selectleaders.com. And there you could go find a real estate professionals. And you also have indeed.com, which most people are familiar with. And if you're ready to hire for your team, those are two good places that you could find them. Obviously, LinkedIn is another great place. And then the asset management fees, when you do close these deals, you want to use that money to help you hire team members. So every time you do a closing, you get your asset management fees. Make sure to save those fees to help you hire additional team members as you go, and not just one team member and you got it from one deal. Keep that strategy, so by the time you continue buying more and more properties, you're going to keep using that asset management fee, and that's going to help you get grow and gain more and more team members. So as your assets grow, your team should also be growing with it as well. And now we're going to jump into outside team members, and those are your property managers, your CPAs, your closing attorneys, real estate transactional attorneys, SEC attorneys, labor law attorneys, and contract law attorneys as well. So again, real estate attorneys, transactional, your Securities and Exchange Commission's attorney as well, labor law, if you're hiring team members, well, you should just have it anyway, just to, stay compliant, and contract law, again, just to stay compliant. And it's always good to have a professional specifically to whatever task you have at hand. Now, you don't need to find a perfect match with your outside team members because it's easier to replace them. I'm not going to say that it's easy, but it's easier to replace an outside team member. And if it's not beneficial, then worst case scenario, you could replace them. It's easier to switch them out than it is to switch out people from your syndication team. Make sure you have correct property management, and the relationship is key. Now, what does that mean? You could have a property manager that all they do is 50 units or less. And that's not going to be the proper property manager for 100+ units. So you want to make sure you have property management on your team that is specific to the unit size and the type of unit class that you're going after. So we all know there's a class A, class B, class C, and class D. Class A are your newest units. Class B are your semi-new. Class C are your older, usually anything from like 70s or 80s build. And your class C is anything from like 70s or later. And so those are the classes A, B, C, and D. And, you want to make sure that your property manager is specific to your class and unit size. It just makes life easier for them and for you as well. Let's see. Yeah, and then as you're working with brokers, and you should always be looking for brokers on your team. The brokers are going to be the agents that are going to be bringing you off-market deals. So you definitely want to reach out to them and ask them, hey, who do you think is a good property management company that you see often, that you've had good experiences with, and that you'd be willing to recommend? And so you want to ask the brokers, and they're usually going to give you their suggestions. You could ask them, what I do is I ask them for a few recommendations, at least 3 or 4 companies that they feel a strong relationship with. And that way, kind of like they're referring it to me. So they're coming highly recommended. But on top of that, they've seen it out in the market. So it kind of gives me the impression that that these people are actually, they're out there, right? They're in the trenches. They actually know my market really well. So if my brokers know them, my brokers are in my market, then I need to get to know them as well. All right, that's pretty much it. So right now I'm going to see if there's any questions that anybody has. So feel free. I don't see any questions in the chat. Feel free to put them in the chat box or just ask them out loud. And next month's topic is going to be how do you make money as a multifamily syndicator? That's going to be a great one as well. And then lastly, here's my contact information. If you click on, let me see if I could do this here. Yeah, so this should be my business page. Let me see if it populates. It's funny because I have a brand new computer, but I'm still breaking it in. So I want to make sure that it's active next time I use it. So here's my business page. Feel free to check that out. Take a look at what we got going on. We currently have, again, that Class B property in San Antonio, 240 units under contract, and hopefully we should be closing that one soon. And let's see here. And
Got a quick question, Carlos.
please, by all means.
All right, I'm
Melissa.
going to take you slightly off topic there.
Go ahead.
When are you looking at closing that? What's your minimum buy-in?
Yeah, so this one, we're about to close supposedly the 31st, unless there's an extension. And the minimum buy-in is 100K. And if there's anybody who needs something less than that, then we could make an exception. But for the most part, that is the minimum buy-in.
And is it a 3 to 5 year, or what's the exit strategy?
Correct. It's 3 to 5 years. And Narissa, we could definitely go further with this one.
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. But I'm glad you asked. Yeah. And they're great questions, but I'm just trying to be mindful of SEC rules and regulations.
Sorry. Yes, of course.
Exactly. Yeah. But I thank you because these are great questions. And and then so, it is in San Antonio, 240 unit Class B. And it's a 506B, so you have to have an established relationship beforehand. So
Gotcha. Sorry.
No, actually, no. Thank you for asking that, and I appreciate that. I think sometimes people want to ask the question about it, but for SEC regulations, or they're kind of timid about the question. So I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for asking that. And yes, so over here you have my email address, my cell phone number, and my office number. So I hope you guys had a great New Year. I hope you guys had a great Christmas, any holiday that you share. And I hope to see all of you at the summit. So, I know that the people from the previous meetups, the investors that were there they were saying that they're definitely going to be joining us. So I'm hoping that everyone that we know could join us, and then I could show Dan and the passive investing group that the group is growing, and we have plenty of people interested in the summit as well. So I thank you guys for joining us there.